So we need Chris Route first.
Yes, sir.
Chris Route is there.
And it would be Tempest. That's pretty cool.
Tempest.
Okay, sorry about that.
Do we have Tempest?
Oh. See, luckily,
All right, Mr. Tempest.
Yes, sir.
If you would raise your right hand and be sworn. You swear or affirm testimony about to give me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but true stuff you got.
Yes, sir.
Is your true name Jeffrey Allen Tempest?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you understand you're charged with resisting arrest?
Yes.
Have you had enough time to go over that case with your attorney?
Yes.
And do you understand your attorney is online with us right now and we are doing this plea electronically?
Yes, sir.
Are you okay with that?
Yes.
To the charge of resisting arrest, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Accept your plea guilty, find you guilty, sentence you to 45 days in jail. You can get credit for at least 87 days. You'll be time served as of right now, okay? Do you have any questions about anything?
No, sir.
All right, good luck. Thank you all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
See you later.
Bye.
All right. Let's get Kyle. Well, we don't have our prosecutors. There she is. I don't know.
why didn't you print off the exhibit?
All right. Which one's Kyle's? Do y'all have Williams there, or is he in the other pod?
No, Williams is in here with me.
Okay, let's do Williams then.
Okay. Uh-huh.
All right. All right, this is Jeffrey Williams,
Yes, sir.
and I do have a copy of the mental health assessment. And did you want to call your client?
I do, Judge.
All right, if you would raise your right hand and be sworn. You swear or affirm testimony about to give me the truth, the whole truth, nothing but true stuff you got.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Morning.
We're here this morning to ask Judge Baxter to grant you a mental health bond. And I know you and I spoke about that previously. Do you have a mental health diagnosis in your past?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you tell the court about that?
Tried to commit suicide years ago.
Okay, and what were you diagnosed with at that point? Do you recall?
Depression.
Okay. Have you ever heard the term as it applies to you called major depressive disorder?
I've never heard of that.
Okay. Were you prescribed medication for your depression?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how old were you when that diagnosis occurred?
I don't remember.
Okay. Was it quite some time ago or fairly recently or?
It's been some time ago.
Okay. You don't know is it years?
Yeah, it's been years.
Okay. Do you recall what medications you took for the depression?
I think it was Paxil.
Okay. Have you ever been inpatient in a mental health facility in the past?
Yes, I went to Wichita Falls State Hospital.
All right. And do you recall how old you were when that occurred?
No, I don't. I don't recall the age.
Okay. Was it just the one time?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you receive any kind of disability for your mental health, like SSI or Medicaid or anything like that?
No, sir.
All right. Now, if the judge grants this bond, there'll be a lot of conditions that go along with it. They're going to want you to get evaluated by a mental health professional, and they may have recommendations for you. They may want you to do counseling. They may want you to take medication, which would be prescribed to you.
Okay.
And all those things would essentially become a condition of your bond. Are you willing to abide by those things?
Yes, sir, I am.
Right. And you would also have to report to the court regularly just for a bond check-in.
Okay.
Are you willing to do that?
Yes, sir.
And as far as transportation to and from, say, court or to your mental health provider, do you have someone that can take you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you know who that would be?
Probably my aunt.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Any questions from the state?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Williams. My name is Kate Harrison. I'm a prosecutor for the state of Texas, and I just have a couple questions for you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
If you're released on a PR or on a mental health bond, where do you intend to live?
With my aunt.
With your aunt?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is your aunt's name?
Sheila Lockhart
Where does Miss Lockhart live?
in Altoga.
I'm sorry, where was that?
Altoga.
Is that in Collin County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who all lives with Miss Lockhart?
Her and her husband.
Okay. And when you're, if you're released and you're living with them, what do you plan to do during the day other than going to treatment and any other court-ordered conditions? What is a day going to look like for you?
I'm gonna do some fishing.
I'm sorry?
Some fishing.
Okay.
So to keep my time occupied.
Okay. All right, I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Anything else from the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
You, Brad?
Well, I'll call Tony Fox briefly, Judge.
Okay. Good.
Um,
Swear you in real fast. You tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. You're muted. You gotta talk real loud if you're muted. There you go.
I cannot testify to anything until client waives attorney-client privilege.
Mr. Williams, will you waive the attorney-client privilege for Ms. Fox to answer a couple of brief questions?
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Ms. Fox, I've called you because since the action plan was prepared, there have been a couple of changes to it, right?
Yes, that is true.
Okay, can you kind of tell the judge what those changes are?
Well, originally he was going to be staying with a different aunt. However, once we started confirming his place to stay, et cetera, working with his mom did find one of her other sisters, which is Sheila Lockhart. So Miss Lockhart is the second sister that the mom talked to about having a place to stay. And the address for that is in McKinney, Texas.
Okay, and Miss Lockhart has confirmed that he can stay there?
Yes. Our office has talked with Miss Lockhart and she says that that is fine.
And does that also change where he would get provided with mental health services?
When we were looking for him in a place to stay and we couldn't confirm, we set him up for Metro Care. But since he is going to be staying with Miss Lockhart and her address is here in Collin County, he will be able to go to Life Path Systems.
And you were also able to confirm that he had reliable transportation to and from court and to and from Life Path?
That's what I've been told by the family.
I'll pass the witness.
Any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
Anything else from the defense?
No, Your Honor, we'll rest.
All right. Anything else from the state?
Date offer State's Exhibit 1 into evidence.
Yeah, I do have a copy of it, and I have read it.
No objections.
Anything else?
I'll go ahead and read the criminal history into the record if that's okay, Your Honor.
Okay.
Let's see. On August 3rd, 1997, the defendant was arrested by the Collin County Sheriff's Office for possession of marijuana. He was placed on deferred adjudication probation for 6 months. He was then revoked and sentenced to 45 days jail. On July 18th of 2003, the defendant was arrested for theft of property greater than $20, less than $500 by check. This was in Denton County. He was placed on probation for 12 months and was then revoked and sentenced to 30 days in jail. On February 27th of 2005, the defendant was arrested in LaPorte, Texas for possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 2, less than 1 gram, and he was sentenced to 100 days confinement in jail. And that concludes the reading of his criminal history. The state rests.
Any argument?
Well, Judge, we would just argue that he's definitely got a mental health history. He's willing to accept treatment and services. He's got a good support system. He appears to be probation eligible. And he's got mental health issues that need to be addressed.
Any argument from the state?
Your Honor, the state's going to oppose due to the violent nature of this offense. He's suspending PR bonds for violent offenses is still in effect. So for those reasons, we would oppose his release.
Yeah, it's discretionary because of the nature of the offense, but under 17032. But I've read the report and the criminal history is not that. I mean, it's been what, 15, 16 years since he's done anything that there was a report for. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a bond and get you out on a PR bond today. You're going to have to do what you said you're going to do.
Yes, sir.
That is to get treatment, get help, make sure there's nothing in your system.
That's what I want.
Other than the medication that you're supposed to be taking. You'll need to come see me once a month.
Okay.
But you'll have to call Tony every week to kind of see how that's going to happen. And she'll report to me on what you're doing, what you're not doing. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
She's going to tell you some things right now.
Okay.
Judge, if I could interrupt just real quick, I'm sorry, Tony. Since he's going to be released, could we put as a condition that he is to have no
Stay away. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. Do you need the name of the victim or you have it in the office?
I have it in the report.
All
Yeah,
right.
you're going to stay away from your stepfather.
Oh, I know.
All right, go ahead, Tony.
Okay. Jeffrey, my name is Tonya Fox. I will be your caseworker for this.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
what you'll want to do is call me tomorrow so that we can discuss what you need to be doing. My card will be in a folder that you should receive when you are released.
Okay,
If for some reason you don't have my contact information, contact your attorney. He has it. And we'll get you into LifePath. LifePath will evaluate you for mental health and substance abuse treatment. The bond will require you to follow any and all recommendations. Do you understand that?
yes, ma'am.
Talk to you tomorrow morning.
Okay, thank
Look,
you.
we'll see you hopefully next month.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. And I think the
Jeffrey,
next-
will,
we have to
I'm
go to
sorry.
a different pod. Yeah, you're good, Kyle. You can go.
Jeffrey, we'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, ma'am.
I think this one's in a different pod. There we go. All right. Let's see.
Mr. Taylor, can you unmute the tablet?
Little red microphone button.
Maybe at the very top. There you go.
All right, this is James Wayne Taylor.
Yes.
There's an interference, and then what's the other charge? You're muted, Matt.
Assault, impeding breath.
Impeding breath.
Gotcha.
Allegedly.
All right, and did you want to call your client and testify?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you would, raise your right hand and be sworn. You swear or affirm testimony about to give be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. I do have a copy of the mental health assessment.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Taylor, I haven't had a chance to talk to you necessarily about the details of this, but I'm going to try to go over it so the court understands that you understand certain things, okay?
Okay.
All right. Today, we're before the court asking them to grant you a mental health bond. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you understand that a mental health bond is like a personal recognizance bond, but except it has a lot more conditions to include mental health treatment on it. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that should you fail to do any of these conditions to include mental health treatment, that the court can and most likely would revoke your assessment.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, you are currently sitting in Collin on 2 charges, which the court just explained are interference with 911 and impeding breath, correct?
Yes, sir.
However, you have a number of charges pending down in Dallas. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the vast majority of the charges down in Dallas involve the same alleged.
Correct.
Okay. And those allegations are much older than the ones here. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. From your perspective, would it, and you intend to fight those allegations, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So from your perspective, would it make more sense to fight the older matters in order to better clear up the matters up here in Collin? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And should you be granted a PR bond, you're not necessarily going anywhere. You have hold on your house. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. In fact, and a lot of those, they increase the bond and a couple of them are no bond. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Pass witness.
Any questions?
Good morning, Mr. Taylor. My name is Kate Harrison. I'm a prosecutor for the state of Texas, and I just have a couple questions for you, okay?
Okay.
What are you currently diagnosed with mental health wise?
Depression, taking medication for anxiety as well.
Okay. When were you diagnosed with depression and anxiety?
I'm sorry.
When were you diagnosed with depression and anxiety?
The first time was, I believe, back in 2013, and I most recently saw a doctor in September of 2019 and was back on prescription medications.
Okay. And if you were released, your attorney just said if you were released on a mental health bond, you would be going back to Dallas County Jail. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's not really a mental health treatment plan, right? You would just be going there to wait and fight the charges in Dallas.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, your attorney also mentioned the pending cases with the same alleged victim. Is that Megan Stevenson?
Yes, ma'am.
And is she the victim on all of your pending Dallas County cases?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll pass the witness.
Anything else?
Just to correct something, Your Honor. All your Mr. Taylor, all your pending cases but one. Is that correct? You do also have a misdemeanor DWI that's not involved, or is that correct?
Well, it is involved, but yes, it is a DWI. Yes, it's not directly related.
Okay, I just clear record, and we're not making a misrepresentation. Now, lastly, as the state just rightly pointed out, you wouldn't necessarily be going straight into mental health treatment should you be given this bond, but does the sort of backwards order of the way things are in the county and not being down in Dallas and being able to address those older matters, is that causing you greater anxiety?
Definitely.
Okay, pass the witness.
Anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Defense rest.
Just argument. Yep, rest, Your Honor.
Anything else from the state?
State offers State's Exhibit 1 into evidence.
That's the police report.
Yeah.
I do have that. I have read that.
All right, and now we'd like to read in the defendant's criminal history. On September 15th, 1998, the defendant was arrested for burglary of a vehicle. He was convicted of that offense and sentenced to 180 days in jail, probated for 1 year. On March 9th of 2001, the defendant was arrested for possession of marijuana less than 2 ounces. He was placed on 6 months deferred adjudication.
Well, I'll tell you, to save you time, I'm not giving them a mental health bond, because that's not what we're trying to do here. They're trying to just get them out on down to Dallas, and that's not what the 17032s are for. So I'm going to deny bond. If you want him to get to Dallas, talk to the court where the cases are filed and see if they will.
And I was going to make that in my argument, Your Honor. We did have a bond reduction in front of Judge Edgeworth.
Yeah.
While she was receptive to a PR bond to get this, her concern was being able to, and she had the authority to find the bond insufficient and be able to pull him back in order to ensure public safety. With the mental health bond, we have a little more flexibility.
Well, he's not doing anything on the mental health. He's not getting treatment. He's not doing anything on the mental health bond. She can do the same thing. The cases are filed. Go talk to the judge that's filed them. And but I'm not going to grant him a mental health bond for non-mental health reasons. There's no mental health plan. There's no provider. It's just to get him to Dallas. And cases are filed. Let him. If he wants to take care of it, then go.
I would argue against that, Your Honor. I have a long history of clients getting worse in county jail because nothing is happening on their cases and they're deteriorating. And now I have 2 that are going well beyond 2 years because they decompensate and become incompetent because they're not getting any treatment in the jail.
Well, I understand, but there's no mental health treatment program for him.
Well, that's why I elicited testimony to him that this is causing anxiety, and if we can flip it around on its head and allow him to address Dallas so that then we can address Colin, it might decrease.
Well, I'm not doing it because it's just not what 17032 is for, and 17032 requires things that we don't have here. So bonds on both the cases can be denied. Thank y'all.
I'm saying, Ron.
See you later.